Hello, everyone. Thank you, Maxon, for having me here. It's a great pleasure and an honor to be at the Maxon booth to talk with you. We have a lot of things to talk about, so better start. We will talk about our experience with Cinema 4D. We will talk about digital fashion and our creative process. And we will show you a project that we have made specifically for this event. His name is Ren, and the breakdown. Because, what is a Maxon presentation without a good breakdown of the most interesting point of a video? Let me introduce myself. I'm Amin Farah, and as you can see by my name, I'm Italian. I'm a 3D artist, art director, and co-founder of TheBlackLab studio. The TheBlackLab studio is a digital studio based in the center of Italy with many years of experience in web, 3D, design, and strategy. Our aim is to mix all of those skills to create something new by the contamination of them. Cinema 4D helped us in a lot to face many challenges, from the architectural visualization to the product design, from the creation of ADVs to the production of technical videos for industrial technologies. Like an example, a plastic extruder. This is not a Nike shoe, but I think that every project, every product can tell a great story. Best thing that a creative person can do is to listen and with the 3D ink, this case, try to communicate the best of those products. I have a little example of a mix of our showreel about all these specific videos, about the technical videos, and here it is. As I was saying, Cinema 4D helped us on a lot of projects for different Italian clients, but also as letting us to be free to experiment. We are the TheBlackLab is a laboratory, so we do research and development about new new experiments, new workflows, new techniques, okay, for the creativity. The thing is that we like to connect the dots, so bring a topic as inspiration of anything, no, and to mix it with 3D on an as an inspiration key. So in a world where everything is more open and connected, our goal is to create a bridge between the 3D artist and other creative fields. Creative fields like traditional art, painting, sculpting, writing, even dancing, if you want. And we inspire to that every time that we want to experiment something like new features about Cinema 4D and new techniques, a new plugin, or a new workflow. Always to draw on a 3D project, a render, a video loop that we publish on our social media, just to create like a milestone of our comparison of that. As I said, we get inspiration from everything, like traditional art, science, from the infinitely small to the infinitely big, and music, and finally, the topic of today, the fashion field. Fashion, in our opinion, is the maximum expression of experimentation, research, and the inspiration for new shapes and new. It's a great inspiration for us. But the thing is that also fashion inspires to many things, like nature, like sensation, like colors, creating new patterns, new shapes. So also the fashion gets inspired by 3D in the last years. So if we switch, we have a scheme like that. So the R&D that we make in Cinema 4D can inspire the fashion, and by the collaboration by fashion designers and 3D artists, we can create some new 3D digital projects. So let's talk about the software that we use in this creative field. Obviously, Cinema 4D. That Studio, anyone knows what is That Studio and Marvelous Designer? Okay. That Studio is a fantastic application for the creation and customization of character. And Marvelous Designer. That's another application specialized on the clothing simulation, with a tailoring language. So you have to create a pattern to sew it, all of this in 3D. The plugin X-Particles. X-Particles was a fantastic plugin that, and I'm not saying this because Bob Wamsden is right there from Insidium. Thank you guys for this fantastic plugin that helped us to expand in a lot our creative soul. How can I say it? Yeah, as render engine we have Octane Render, GPU-based program, very fantastic by the speed of and the realistic result. There's any 3D artist right there, or someone? Is there any 3D artist? Yeah, there's one. Okay, I know it. Yeah, I want to do a statement. If someone does interior renders, he has to know, if he wants a good result, he have to know something about lighting, about composition, photography, to improve the result of his render. So as well on the fashion field. So you have to know, if you want a good result, and you will see the results. If you want a good result, to know what is a warp, what is a weft, what is a pattern, how to sew something, okay, or how to stick a button, okay. So I've this quote from Pablo Picasso that says, "Learn the rules like a pro, so you can break them like an artist." So we must know a creative field when we approach it with humbleness. Absolutely. And the first thing, to learn the rules and then create our, put in our creative knowledge on it. So here's some of our renders that the first render, I think, that we have made while studying. And as you can see, while switching the slides, there's an improvement, okay? As you can see there, in this one we try to experience the full experience of the fashion design the fashion shooting. So we have made the character, we have tried to do the hair, the glasses, all of those things. So go on, and there's another experiment where when we have trying to have a more relaxed hoodie, they say like that, yeah, and this other. So the fact that in every image that we have created, we wanted to have this kind of detail, okay? So mastering and achieving always render by render better result. I see the first and I say the t-shirt, it's not very good, it looks so rigid. Maybe the next time we will do it better, improve render by render. And this is the coolest thing, because as a studio we have also to publish content on the social media, so the people can see every week, because we don't do dailies, every week an improvement of our work. And then you can abstract it with some weird effects, but with a very specific technique or new feature from Cinema 4D. As example, was made with the VDB mesher and exported from Cinema 4D as a open VDB, and then re-imported as an open VDB on Octane Render, the same that used to create clouds. This was made with a specific plugin named Topoformer from Merck Wilson, and I had a lot of fun to create this piece. But I love the VDB mesher, so I work a lot with that. As I was saying, while publishing our projects on Instagram, we have lots of people got interested in it. This is an experiment that we have made with a Danish graffiti artist named Fuk van Dank that asked us to reinterpret it with our style this project. So the name was The Blackbird. It's just a coincidence. And this is the final result that was exposed in one of his art galleries. We had the possibility with this topic, with this experimentation, to be also, thanks to GRM Studio, this is it's the official Italian partner of Cinema 4D to participate to an event named Digital Transformation, where we have talked about artificial intelligence, about the works of the future and the many applications. You know, we have presented our first collection of fashion, haute couture collection. So it's Radia. Lumed. Lumed is a collection that takes inspiration from the light, and because we are on the digital field, the artificial light, so the RGB. We are not just creative, we talk also about business. So this creative field could bring for the fashion designer and for the fashion enterprises that works in this field many advantages for each other, and also a new kind of work application for a 3D artist in this field, because it's relatively new. So while I was talking, there's the images and looks. So we have talked about the many application of the fashion field for the enterprises and in this event. But speaking about digital transformation, there's a very interesting phenomena named the digital influencer, and there's some of them that that catch our attention. So who knows some of those faces? Do you know someone of those? Okay. What is a digital influencer? A digital influencer is a virtual person that has a social media account and shares photos, but that's not there are not photos, are photo manipulation with rendering in real places. Okay, if this sounds dumb, you have to know that Lil Miguela have something like 1.5 million followers. Okay, and the 60% of those people don't know that she's fake. Okay, so those digital influencers are made by fashion agency, PR agencies, and it moves a big business that is growing and growing up. The thing is that they don't. The thing that they act like real persons. They took photo, they date each other, they go out together. So we are passing from rendering files to rendering lives. This thing has this birth of these digital people, and the fashion field that where we are working, and the new features of Cinema 4D had inspired us to create a 3D motion video named Ren. So I will show you right now. Thank you very much. I would like to say thanks to Gabriele Zanotti for the editing and compositing, and for the music and sound effect to Claudio Bruzzesi, aka Audio Bruz. Now we are going to our second part, a more technical part, okay? Where we will do this breakdown about the what we call the Alembic workflow that we will show you. Our version, tested version, 0% of stress for the to link, because we are always talking about the connection of things, and also Cinema 4D as well does this thing between Dev Studio, Marvelous Designer, and Cinema 4D. We will talk so about the Alembic workflow, the character, how we made it, and the dress with Dev Studio and Marvelous Designer. The first layer that we have seen, the exploding one, with the X particles, XP trail, and the second layer with MoGraph and fields by the crystals, and the bodies with the good old atom array. Okay. Oh, I didn't put it on full screen. Okay, sorry. This is the scheme. I try to explain it a little. We start with Dev Studio. We create the character. We create the animation inside of the program, and we export two different Alembic files. One with the sub-D, and one other without the sub-D. Why? Because Marvelous, I don't know why, doesn't read it. Okay, so this is I've tried a lot of different format files, but this is the coolest, the good. So on Marvelous Designer, we import the avatar, we create the garment, we simulate the garment. We will see a little bit of the interface by snapshot. Garment animation, and we export the Alembic animation, okay? So, in Cinema 4D, then we merge everything all together. The dress, the character, okay? With this new interface for the Alembic importing format. The cool thing is that if I'm not very satisfied about the pose or the draping or how the cloth is simulating, I can easily go to check, to create another simulation, and then change it from the same file, while keeping up all the texture that I've applied, that I worked on, or where another one are working on. Okay. So the character was very cool to do. Also in a very simple way, was made with Dev Studio and Marvelous Designer. This is Dev Studio, how it looks. Okay, we have also the timeline where we have animated all the different parts of the character. Marvelous Designer, as I was saying, is it has a tailoring language. So we start from the pattern, and then we see them on the 3D parts of the software, and we simulate the draping and the relaxing of the cloth animation, and then the exporting of it. The character was the shading was made with Octane render in Cinema 4D. And there's some details. I love the details. I love the crunchiness of the different details that a body can reveal, especially the eye. This is the first layer made with a not very technical. It wasn't very hard. As Insidium will confirm, then it was simply an emitter that was emitting particles applied, linked by the XP tracer, XP tracer, and then set free to move in the atmosphere with a little bit of turbulence. The other, in this one, were used the 3D model, the Alembic model of the cloth, and then applied or set the particles to be free to run on the cloth, using the XP surface follow surface. This is one of the still frames, the effect, the final effect that we had, and we are very satisfied with it. How we passed from a lot of splines running on the body of the character to a real texture. We have simply created a cube that we have filled with particles, always with X particles, and then with Octane render, we have baked the displacement map and also the normal map. And this is the final from this one that was made with X particles, and it wasn't very full because you know there's a lot of splines to fulfill the garment. So we came to that. Okay, let's go. For the animation, we have used another effector, a plane effector. Another plane effector that animated all the effect and a linear field. But the cool thing is that with these new features, the integration of the fields in Cinema 4D, we can art direct also the curvature of the sticking crystals. That's fantastic. So this is the final result on the viewport. And this is the final result on a macro. This is the actual, on all the scene that you have seen, this is the level of detail. Why? Because we wanted to be free to move with the camera, to go inside, outside, without thinking about the optimization of the geometry. The bodies is the last part, made with simple Boolean and atom array. We have exported separately the upper part from Marvelous Designer and imported in Cinema 4D. As you can see, this is a simple cube applied that, shrinking down, had created this growing effect of the bodies. So always on the detail. Final effect. Those are other still life that I wanted to show about the different color that we could use, and we have made also on our social media. How you can say? We let the people decide which one is the best. Like on the dress, a viral image, is it cyan or is it gold? Okay, so we made it something like that. So this is the final result. I'll show you other. This was very fun to make using the Cinema 4D new features, and that was our first try to create a completely animated character with a digital fashion tailored dress. So I think I'm at the end. I thank you very much. Sorry for the technical problems that we had here. I invite you to find all of our experiments on our Instagram page of the TheBlackLab Studio. And thank you again, Maxon, for this beautiful experience. And thank you all.